everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Inferno. I'm Paisley, and alongside me is Lauren Avenatti. We have a packed show for you today, and we'll begin with ASU football. The Sun Devils wrapped up a 4-game opening homestand last weekend with a loss to USC. Inferno Intel's Kenji Ito reviews last week's contest against the Trojans.
Between the maroon and gold versus the cardinal and gold, the Arizona State Sun Devils played the USC Trojans for the last time in Pac-12 play. Coming to the game as plus 34.5 underdogs, the match between the Arizona State Sun Devils and number 5 ranked USC Trojans was closer than most people expected. The Trojans struck first early as junior quarterback Caleb Williams took it himself to give his team an early 7-0 lead. The Sun Devils did not go out without a fight as the key factor of ASU's offense was junior running back Cam Scatabo. The Sacramento State transfer appreciated the newly run offense under head coach Kenny Dillingham.
We ran the ball a lot more than we have in the past. We were downhill attack. We knew we could run the ball on these guys, and it was working, so we stuck with it.
As ASU kept it close throughout the whole game, it was not good enough to stop the USC offense. Quarterback Williams kept on slinging the pigskin around to his 2 favorite wide receivers in senior Brandon Rice and senior Taj Washington. And with a sold-out crowd at Mountain America Stadium, it played a huge role for the Sun Devils despite the loss. Coach Dillingham praised how a hostile environment can make a team greater.
I'll say this on that topic. This was activating the Valley. This environment is activating the Valley. The sold-out crowd, loud, 3rd and 20 the first drive with 2 penalties. That was just as much important. That was just as important to winning this game than anything I've done in my meeting rooms and my players.
Too little, too late for the Sun Devils, as late in the 4th quarter, the defense of the Trojans stepped up and limited the ASU offense. Next up, the Sun Devils will travel to Northern California to face the California Golden Bears at California Memorial Stadium. Kickoff is set for 12 p.m. on Pac-12 Network. In Tempe, Kenji Ito, Inferno Intel.
Thanks for that, Kenji. What an exciting game. Moving on to this weekend, Dillingham and his squad will be headed up to Berkeley, California for their first away game. Ben Yates is here to cover everything you need to know before the Sun Devils meet the Golden Bears.
Sun Devil football will go on the road for the first time this season. ASU faces the Golden Bears of California, who have a 2-2 record so far this season. The Bears have faced some tough competition so far. The 2 losses have come at the hands of Auburn and Washington. Ben Finley, a Phoenix native, has taken over the duties of quarterback for California. Finley, who transferred from NC State, has gotten into a new rhythm with the Golden Bears. His completion percentage is up by 10% from last season. It's good for 62%. And while he's made progress, Finley also threw 3 interceptions in the game against the Huskies. Meanwhile, ASU offense has suffered a number of injuries, leading Coach Kenny Dillingham to work with a revolving door of quarterbacks over the last 2 weeks. Redshirt junior Trenton Bourget has been practicing throughout the week and could make his return as ASU starting quarterback this weekend. Against the Trojans, junior tailback Cameron Scatabo was a star performer, and he was integral in ASU's success last Saturday. But the offensive line for the Sun Devils has been a concern, with injuries limiting Dillingham to a rotation of about 7 players total. In the last 2 games, Drew Pine was sacked 11 times. Quick history check, the last time the Devils and Bears matched up was in 2019. Jaden Daniels and Eno Benjamin were the catalyst players in that game, leading to a Sun Devil victory. Benjamin had 3 touchdowns in the 24-17 win over the Golden Bears. Dillingham claimed Monday that California's loss to Washington was not a fair reflection of this team. Like the Sun Devils, the Golden Bears are still putting the pieces together. As this may be the last time the Devils and Bears match up, the team that has more of the puzzle complete should come out on top.
Thanks, Ben. We'll have to see if the Sun Devils can pull out a win in the Bay Area. From the gridiron to the diamond, ASU softball held their first game of the fall schedule against Central Arizona College. Brady Hansen recaps the action from Farrington Stadium.
If you're a fan of Sun Devil softball, you got a lot to look forward to this season as ASU left it all out on the field tonight here at Farrington. It was an absolute blowout for Arizona State softball Wednesday night as they were able to slay Central Arizona College on their way to a 22-2 victory over 10 innings. Yeah, you heard me right. A game of 10 innings was agreed upon, resulting in 24 combined runs. It was an all-around effort for ASU as they were dominant on both sides of the ball. Kenzie Brown got the starting nod for the Sun Devils, and she was absolutely electric, striking out the first 5 batters that she faced. Brown pitched 3 innings, and all 9 outs she recorded came way of the K.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left.
I think I just leaned into my hard work that I put in this summer and my teammates. I mean, it's easy to have success whenever you have a good group of girls behind you.
On the offensive side of the ball, there was no stopping the charge of the Sun Devils. After all, they did score 22 runs. The run production started early in the bottom of the first with the 3-run homer off the bat of Jordan Van Hook, her first of the night. The 6th inning is really where ASU blew it open though, as they batted around scoring 9 runs in the inning to push the game to a very comfortable 13-2 lead. From there, ASU had the game on cruise control, handling Central Arizona with ease and stacking more runs whenever they got the chance. On a night where ASU scored 22 runs, they were able to hit 8 home runs, 3 of those homers coming from last year's Pac-12 home run leader, Jordan Van Hook.
Just keeping it simple, trying not to do too much. Usually like in these type of games and just like fall ball early on, I like to just think gap to gap, and obviously it went over, so it was good. It was a good night.
The Sun Devils are looking to piggyback off this offensive explosion into their next fall ball game and the rest of the season. From Tempe, I'm Brady Hansen, reporting for Inferno Intel.
Thanks, Brady. Switching to the ice, men's hockey is right around the corner, and Lachlan McTagg is here to introduce the captains. Lachlan, take it away.
Thanks, Paisley. With the opening scrimmage just a week away, it's time to meet this year's leadership group. The first alternate captain is junior defenseman Ethan Schmaggy. He is the only returner who suited up in all 39 games last year, earning him the team's Iron Man award. Schmaggy proved his worth as a solid defenseman last season and will look to anchor this skilled blue line. The next alternate captain is senior forward Matthew Copperund. Copperund had himself quite the sophomore season, putting up 40 points in just 36 games, but unfortunately after an injury-riddled junior season that saw him produce just 12 points in 21 games, that has Coach Greg Powers looking for him to provide more offense this season. Another guy Powers will look to on the offensive end is the third alternate captain and senior forward Lucas Sillinger. He had an impressive sophomore season at Bemidji State, scoring at a point-per-game pace before transferring to ASU last season. Although Sillinger didn't regain that pace, he was a mainstay in the top 6 and a staple on that first power play unit. The final alternate captain is senior forward Ryan O'Reilly. Arriving at ASU 3 years ago, O'Reilly has been a consistent producer and has proven to be an effective two-way forward who can play key minutes for the Sun Devils this year. Finally, this year's captain will be grad student transfer Tyler Granton, who played his last 4 years at Penn State and brings over 123 games of college hockey experience with him. That includes last year's playoff run that saw the Nittany Lions come 1 goal away from advancing to the Frozen Four. Gratton was unanimously voted by the players to be this year's captain and has already earned the respect of the locker room during his short time in the Valley. Greg Powers hopes that Gratton can help guide this Sun Devil team to the promised land this season. Back to you guys.
Thank you for that, Lachlan. It'll be so exciting to see what Grattan can do for men's hockey. The women's hockey season is now underway, and Inferno Intel's Ari Wall is ringside with the latest.
Thanks, Paisley. The ASU women's hockey team started off their 2023-24 regular season with a 5-2 loss against the familiar opponent in the Maryvale Saints. The Sun Devils started off strong, but in the second period, the Saints exploded for a flurry of 4 goals in the span of about 5 minutes. The 2 ASU goals came courtesy of Captain Ellie McKenna and senior Haley Martin, and even though they had good games, the freshmen made their presence felt as well. Heading into the regular season, head coach Lindsay Ellis talked about upgrading this year's team's speed, and despite the loss, that was certainly apparent. Coach Ellis also said that the team knows what changes they need to make in order to get their first win of the regular season. The 2 teams will match up against each other right here at the Mountain America Community Iceplex in just a couple of hours, and you can catch that game streaming live on YouTube at Inferno TV. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you so much for that, Ari. Now from the ice to the green, Stephen Buxton brings us an update on the latest news in Sun Devil golf.
ASU men's golf is off to a solid start this season. So far through their first 2 tournaments, they placed second in the first one, shooting 7 over for a team score of 871 at the Solly Players Championship in Washington. And their most recent tournament was in Olympia Fields, Illinois for the Fighting Illini Invitational. Only the first 2 rounds were played, though, because Sunday's final round was canceled due to a lightning delay. Going into the final round, ASU was in 4th place after a fantastic day 2. On Saturday, the team shot 5 under par, good for the second best round of the tournament. Their fantastic day 2 put the Sun Devils within 10 strokes of the first place North Carolina Tar Heels. Junior Joselle Ballister had the best round for the Sun Devils the weekend. Ballister was tied for 8th, shooting 2 under for 138. Tied for 13th, grad student Riggs Johnston was the only other Sun Devil to shoot under par. A 3 under day 2 took Johnston down to 1 under on the weekend. The most notable part, though, was the Sun Devils lineup was missing junior Preston Summerhays, who earned himself a spot in the Fortinet Championship tournament out in Napa after winning the Solly Individual Championship. Summerhays tied for 56th in the tournament, shooting 4 under. Going forward, the Sun Devils head to Texas for the Ben Hogan Collegiate Tournament starting Monday. Keep up with the team on Twitter and follow us for more coverage throughout the season.
Thank you, Stephen, for giving us the rundown on golf. Can't wait for more coverage throughout the season. ASU Volleyball continues their unbeaten streak, now 14-0 to start the season. John Kinney was at the Devils' last match against Washington.
ASU lost the opening set to Washington due to having 6 serving errors in the first set. ASU would take the game 3-1 over Washington, and ASU remains undefeated on the season. Claire Jeter had some big blocks in the game for ASU. She led the team with 4 blocks in the game. Marta Levinska continues to dominate on the court. She had a team-high 19 kills on the game and combined 37 kills in the first 2 games in Pac-12 play. Mary Schroll and Claire Jeter talked after the game about how the team responded after the first set loss.
Yeah, after that first set, I think maybe we kind of just came out a little flat, but a big thing for us this year has been our consistency and kind of battling back when, things like that happen. So I thought we responded really, really well after that first set loss. Missing some serves and service pressure is huge for us and has been like one of our biggest focus this year to be, the best team in the conference and in the nation. So that's our goal. So we kind of really locked into that, and I thought we did a really good job in the sets 2, 3, and 4 on that.
Yeah, I think JJ's main thing was to not play like we were playing like we were scared to lose in the first set. So I think when we came out and we played our regular game, we were fine. And when we serve like we know how, we're more than okay. And our serve receive is amazing this game. So it's really easy for us to be able to put down balls when we run such a fast offense when we have great serve receive beside us.
ASU will hit the road for their next 2 games against Stanford in California, in Tempe, John Kinney, Inferno, Intel.
Thanks, John. Arizona State women's soccer had an impressive start to Pac-12 play, and Douglas Santo is here in the studio to tell us all about it. What you got, Douglas?
Thanks, Lauren. ASU women's soccer improved to 6-1-3 on the season and 1-0 in conference play last weekend with a 2-0 win over Oregon State. The Lady Devils remained undefeated in Pac-12 openers under head coach Graham Winkworth with a 5-0-2 record. Sophomore midfield/forward Anasia Cologne was the star of the game, scoring both of ASU's goals. Cologne now leads the team with 6 goals on the season. Then ASU traveled to Stanford to face the number 3 ranked Cardinal on Thursday. This was a huge test for the Lady Devils after an amazing start to the season. Despite the stat sheet being lopsided, ASU kept it close, eventually losing 2-1. The Lady Devils got down 1-0 early, but graduate student Florence Valancourt scored the equalizer in the 53rd minute. But Stanford continued the pressure, and sophomore midfielder Jasmine Ike scored the game-winning goal in the 82nd minute. This was the first time all season ASU allowed multiple goals. Next, ASU will head north to the Bay Area to face the Cal Bears on Sunday. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Douglas, for that report on soccer. We will have to wait to see how they do against Cal. Well, that does it for this week's episode of Inside the Inferno. To stay up to date on the latest news, follow our social media accounts at Inferno Intel and check out our website, infernointelmedia.com. It has been a pleasure at the desk for my first time with you, Lauren. From Lauren Avenatti and the rest of the crew, I'm Paisley Poole. See you next time on Inside the Inferno.